One by one, anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And today, I proudly join that list.
Okay. You can pause that right there. Vinny, what's going on here?
So stop complaining about it. It's so funny to hear the left talking about weaponization of the government as if they're just coming out of this from nowhere. So one of the biggest questions raised, guys, is Jennifer Newsom's nonprofit, the Representation Project, reports an IRS filing showed that she allegedly paid herself $1.8 million in salary, while another $2.1 million reportedly went to her production company. It's called Girls Club Entertainment through nonprofit funding tied to donors connected to Gavin Newsom's political world. That's almost $4 million flowing back into her own ecosystem while California lectures taxpayers about equity and compassion. Now, this is days, Pat, literally the day that after that this news broke, the federal investigation, Gavin Newsom agreed to pay $31,500 ethics fine.
Newsom barely finishes calling himself a victim, and Vincent Oshana drops the real number, almost $4 million, moving through his wife's nonprofit. Victim narrative or distraction? You decide.
In recent days, federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees. Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one.
Sure.
They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process, digging through years and years of random documents. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president. Because he hates that I consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit. Donald Trump is simply the most corrupt president in American history. He's turned the levers of government into his own personal power ministries to reward cronies and to try to jail his opponents. His personal attorney now runs the Department of Justice, which has repeatedly gone after his political enemies. Ask Jerome Powell. Sent them after James Comey, Trish James, Adam Schiff. He sent them after Tim Walz, and a woman that a jury found Donald Trump had sexually abused. One by one, anyone who has challenged Donald Trump has ended up on his hit list. And today, I proudly join that list.
Okay. You can pause that right there. Vinny, what's going on here?
So stop complaining about it. It's so funny to hear the left talking about weaponization of the government as if they're just coming out of this from nowhere. So one of the biggest questions raised, guys, is Jennifer Newsom's nonprofit, the Representation Project, reports an IRS filing showed that she allegedly paid herself $1.8 million in salary, while another $2.1 million reportedly went to her production company. It's called Girls Club Entertainment through nonprofit funding tied to donors connected to Gavin Newsom's political world. That's almost $4 million flowing back into her own ecosystem while California lectures taxpayers about equity and compassion. Now, this is days, Pat, literally the day that after that this news broke, the federal investigation, Gavin Newsom agreed to pay $31,500 ethics fine for California's own political watchdog, found he failed to properly disclose over $5.5 million in donor payments he personally solicited tied to corporations, foundations, and wildfire relief funding. And this is what I think is
happening. 5 times more expensive than Costco.
Yeah, weird. And it's by the chickens have come home to roost, because let's not forget, I think this is my opinion, Pat, Dana Williamson, Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff, she pled guilty in May to bank and wire fraud, false tax returns, and lying to federal agents, and the penalty is over 30 years in prison. Think about that. That's, to me, maybe she's talking. Maybe she's blowing the whistle. And just for everybody that's
maybe she wants 30 to go down.
Exactly, to maybe go to 10 to 15. But let's just clear the air. This investigation began under Joseph Biden, not Donald Trump. So all this, everybody's coming after me is nonsense. And let's just be obvious. This is the same guy, Pat, in the same state that spent $24 billion. I'm going to say that number again. 24B with the billion to get rid of homelessness, Mr. Morgan, and what happened? It multiplied. It's as if the money went to make them more drugged out and more strung out to put them on the street.
At least he got the speed railroad done. At least he got that done.
No, Pat, he didn't. Yeah,
he didn't get that done.
He didn't.
And at least it wasn't that big of a budget. It was only a $31 billion budget, and they hit it.
It's not.
But it ended up being now $120-something billion to get it done. Okay,
yeah.
Here's what makes this whole "they're persecuting me" routine fall apart. This isn't some new Trump-era witch hunt. Vincent Oshana lays out on the panel that the investigation into Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, traces back to before this current cycle of attention, and she already pled guilty to bank fraud, wire fraud, and lying to federal agents facing over 30 years. That's not speculation. That's a closed guilty plea. And then there's the actual governing record getting buried under the outrage. $24 billion spent on homelessness, with the problem getting visibly worse. A high-speed rail project that was supposed to cost $31 billion and ballooned past $120. So when Newsom frames every headline as Trump coming after him personally, ask yourself what story he'd rather you not be talking about instead, the federal investigation, or the state record sitting right behind it. Which one do you think he's actually more afraid of? The DOJ subpoenas or the audit of his own track record?
John, give me both perspective. The government comes, they hire you. What do we do here? Newsom family hires you. What do you look for?
The first thing we got to say is, look, one of the reasons that Donald Trump won in a landslide was that he was prosecuted multiple times. Mm-hmm. So Newsom saw that, and it worked for him. The difference is Trump actually sat in a courtroom freezing his ass off, and he sat there like a bull every day. That's a whole lot different than people rattling your cage. The other thing that Newsom saw is that he tweets out these mean tweets, and he's trying to emulate that, and it's really not working for him. So he's taken the Trump playbook and going that way. The problem for all of them is, look, Donald Trump, after he went through what he went through, his promise was retribution, and he's coming back through here turning every stone. And you're right, these stones were already turned before here. I've always been amazed at the whole Gavin Newsom, who his wife was, and then who Donald Jr. was with. I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe it if...
Listen to what John Morgan just said there. Not some random commentator, but one of the most successful trial lawyers in America, breaking it down like a courtroom strategy. His read is blunt. Newsom watched what happened to Trump, saw that getting prosecuted turned him into a martyr with his base, and now he's running the exact same playbook, the mean tweets, the hit list framing, all of it. But Morgan also draws the line Newsom hopes you won't notice. Trump actually sat in that courtroom every single day, in person, taking the hit. Newsom's version so far is a video statement and a press release. One guy showed up, the other one's posting. If even his own panel is calling out that the strategy is borrowed, is this really persecution, or is it a 2028 campaign ad dressed up as a crisis?